Hello everyone. I have something here, just arrived today. So let's take a look. I haven't even taken it out of the mailer. I know several other people are receiving their copies of Lady Tarot cards. Oh, I'm excited. Here, my cat might make an audio appearance. Okay, so what is this deck? This is a Kickstarter deck that was successfully crowdfunded, clearly, and it is a collaborative deck. Now, honestly, I don't usually enjoy collaborative decks. That's just a personal preference of mine. I enjoy a degree of consistency in the art in my deck. I think there are a lot of really beautiful collaborative decks out there, but they just don't speak to me as divination tools. And so what made this particular deck stand out? Well, I'll be honest. It was some of the artists participating. In particular, I'm a fan of Matix on Facebook, and so I don't know whether it was her promoting the campaign on her Facebook page or whether I had found this Kickstarter campaign and recognized her art and knew she was participating and said, oh, if Matix is in this deck, I really want to have it. And so I supported it. And a lot of the other artists are really fantastic. And so I felt very motivated to participate. So what makes this deck noteworthy? Well, it's specifically female forward, and it is person of color forward, and LGBT inclusive, and it is designed from the ground up to be this way. It's not an afterthought. It's not a, oh, hey, maybe we should change some cards up and include some diversity. It's no, this is designed fundamentally to be an inclusive and diverse deck along those particular lines. And I am having some real problems getting into this box because I don't want to tear it. It's got this beautiful cutout here, and so I don't want to damage it. I found that the campaign was very well run. Everything was very communicative and on schedule, which I know that a lot of publishing campaigns are not always very there's often a lot of delays in the publishing world anyway. And so that small publishing efforts like tarot decks on Kickstarter have frequent delays. Like, that's just the nature of the creature, you know, that's completely unsurprising, and it's a very natural part of small publishing, especially in the crowdfunding world. Gosh, I'm having so much trouble with this. I'm so sorry. There we go. I'm getting a little bit, I'm having so much trouble with this. I have some hand problems, and that might be compounding some of these issues. Okay. I'm getting a little bit of purchase going in from the bottom. Okay, so I think that I will not store this deck in the box because I'm having so much trouble getting the box open that I think I might, oh, it's shiny. Look at those cards. Yeah, I think I might store the deck in a separate container rather than try to mangle this box open and closed every single time I want to use it. Other people might have an easier time. I just have some hand trouble. So, okay, so wow, first impressions. The print quality is really nice. They feel really good in my hand. They're not heavy. They're not overly heavy, but they feel substantial at the same time. So I feel like they're a very well-balanced weight, and they're very comfortable to hold. They have that slightly matte finish. I don't know what the correct term for it is, and so I feel like they're going to glide and slide but not slip. They're not going to just scatter everywhere like some of those really slippery cards are. So it's like the This Might Hurt tarot that just, oh, it's such a joy to shuffle. So this was very well produced in terms of acting like a functional deck. Yeah, the printing is really beautiful. The color is really nice. Okay, so let's walk through this deck. Gosh, okay, yeah, the back. I see the suits represented here. You can see the swords and the wands really easily. There's the cups. There's the discs. Wow, that's really cool. And I don't know if the subtle color details are showing up on the camera at all, but there's some really interesting color detail here in the background. Okay, so what we're here for is card pictures. And already I am enjoying this. The Magician card that we saw on the box. I think this was one of the images we saw a few times in the Kickstarter campaign. Oh my gosh, she's so pretty. Wow. Can you see her pomegranates there? I really like that. Wow. Look at her. Look at her face. She is amazing. And, you know, I think what stands out most to me about this card is that it's nighttime. Look at that. Can I think of another Empress card set at night? Not offhand. I find that so striking. Oh gosh, I like that. She is so amazing. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, I can't just lose it over every single card. But I mean, okay, here's one of Matik's cards. I saw this on the Kickstarter preview, but seeing it in person is a very different experience. This is really something. And it makes me very happy to have received this deck, because there's just a lot happening here. And I feel like a lot of care and thought were put into these cards. This reminds me of the Fool card somewhat. I don't know if it's the colors or the composition or the appearance of the figure, but I feel like there's some poetic resonance here somewhat. I know the Fool card had a lot of dominant greens, and this one skews to blue, but in this deck I feel like there's some resonance between the two of them. Oh, here's Wheel of Fortune. And frequently, well, in traditional Rider-Waite-Smith cards, I don't see a lot of human figures in the Wheel of Fortune card. Sometimes, you know, there's a small figure, and in the traditional cards there's a Sphinx figure or some sylph figures, but really seeing Wheel of Fortune or Fortuna personified like this is really cool. And we still have, you know, the elements and the winds here. But seeing Fortuna personified, and personified in armor with this beautiful cape, this cloak, and there's details on the cloak even too. I don't know if you can see, but that's really cool. I think there's a lot of really interesting things happening here. Justice. There's, oh gosh. I think I'm not the right person to talk about this image, so I'm just going to let it sit with you, and you can reflect on this as you will. Here's the Hanged Man. Oh, this is a beautiful moon card. Very radiant. Oh, this is an interesting sun card. There's a lot of stark contrast between light and shadow. And honestly, it's not nearly as bright or sunny as many sun cards, or even most sun cards that I have encountered. And so there's definitely this solar imagery here, but the coloration of the light registers here, they're not warm. It's a very cold light. And I think that's a very interesting way, or that's a very interesting dimension of the Sun card to emphasize in this deck. Because the Sun card has to do often with stepping into knowledge and stepping into fullness of realization, especially of the self. And so this is a card of self-possession, of self-knowledge, and seeing things clearly. But that's not always a very happy process or a very joy-making process. And so often Sun cards are, oh, this is very happy, this is very optimistic. And I kind of like that this Sun card shows that even though there's this beauty, there's this growth, there's this abundance that comes from the illumination of self-knowledge, what comes to mind is the saying, the cold light of day. You know, what is revealed in the cold light of day? And that's a very interesting question asked by this card in particular. And here is Judgment. Oh, in the world, here she is. She is very happy. She is very self-possessed. Wonderful. All right, now we are into the suits. Ace of Cups. I'm going to move the majors out of the way. Oh, lovely. Absolutely lovely. Oh, gosh, I like this. Ah, look at her nails. Oh, I love that. I love the pearly color to this. Like it's kind of a cool glow to this card, but it's pearly. So there's warm tones and cool tones. It's very pearlescent. That's so well done. Here's the Two of Cups. That's really interesting. Real interesting composition. Three of Cups. Oh, look at them. Look at them. Oh, we love them. Oh my gosh. Oh. Wow. Oh my gosh. I know, I need to try and not just squee and gush. Oh, these are fig leaves in particular. She's underneath a ficus, very specifically. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I need to try and not just squee and gush over every single card, or we will never, ever, ever get through this deck. But I want to show off just how rich and lovely and thoughtful this deck is. And you know, I don't know, like I didn't know that it would be. I really bought it on just because there were artists that I liked and because the art looked really good. And sometimes that's a good enough reason to own a deck, even though often, I'll be honest, often I'm kind of disappointed at just buying decks for the sake of the art. But I'm really glad I got this deck. I'm very impressed with the outstanding quality of the art and the high degree of consideration that I feel like has gone into the composition of the cards. Because it's not just a regurgitation of Rider-Waite-Smith. And I mean, that's fine because we love a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. I mean, when you know the system, it's really kind of nice to be able to pick up a deck you like and feel confident of your ability to read it without a great deal of struggle. But it's also, after, once you've read for a long time, it's so nice to feel like the deck is bringing something special to you. And something, a dimension that is, oh, look at them. They're so gay and they're so happy. And they have a doggo. Oh, we love them. We love them so much. It's just so nice. It's so nice. And it's so beautiful. And just the quality of the image is so nice. And that's what kind of is overwhelming to me. Like it's just really well done. Like whoever they chose to print this did a wonderful job. Oh my gosh, the Page of Cups. Because each card has so many dimensions and so many little nuances that can be highlighted or emphasized or downplayed even. Sometimes you want a very soft deck, a very friendly deck, a very approachable deck. And sometimes you want one that's a little harder hitting. And even if it is within the same system, like the Rider-Waite-Smith or the Marseille or what have you. And so finding different cards that emphasize these different dimensions, these different nuances of the cards is really cool. It's very refreshing. It's very challenging to me as a reader, because I've got this whole new tool to learn. And I get to think about cards from a different angle. And I'm reminded of all of these other meanings that I sometimes forget simply because they don't come up very often. That's really cool. That's really cool. And that shadow is present in the card, so it's not just a shadow falling across the frame of the camera. That's really cool. That's very powerful. All right, we are moving into the Ace of Pentacles. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Look at her. Is this before she tosses the balls in the air, or is this after? It's really interesting. Oh, here we go. 3 of Pentacles. Sorry, my thumb is in the way. Oh, I love it so much. 4. Wow. Oh. 5 of Pentacles. Here we go. And 6. Oh my gosh. 7. Oh, this is nice. And the 10. That's very sweet. Page. Knight. Queen. Wow. Now, a guidebook was released for this deck. I know there is a digital download version of the deck, or of the guidebook, because I received that just before this arrived. I think I received it over the weekend, something like that. And I haven't looked at it yet because I didn't want to be spoiled for the deck. But I will be downloading it soon. I'm not sure. Oh, that's so cool. Ace of Wands. So I'm not sure if it's kind of a general summary of Rider-Waite-Smith interpretations, or if there is anything more substantial in terms of imagery and symbolism included that's specific to this deck, because I'd be really interested to hear about or to read about particular plants or particular symbols used in some of these cards, because I think that would add a really important dimension to interpreting these cards, reading with this deck. And I'd be very interested to know more about the various artists who participated in this deck, because I'm not familiar with all of them. Some of them I recognize their names, and some of them I kind of know by their artwork. Like some of their art looks familiar, like you see it on Tumblr or Instagram, that kind of thing. But I'm not, real deeply familiar with their catalog, and so I'd be really interested in learning more about what they do. And so I'd be curious if there's artist statements and things like that in the guidebook. I expect there is, but I'm gonna go take a closer look at some of this. Oh, that's so cool. Look at that. Oh, so beautiful. Wow. I love it. I love it so much. Nine of Wands. Wow. It's really cool that we get to see her face in this card. Often the face of the figure in the Ten of Wands is turned away. Page of Wands. Page of Wands. Oh. Knight of Wands. Wow. Oh my gosh. Queen of Wands. Wow. Oh my gosh. And she does have a cat. Look, there it is. I was thinking, oh, the cat is the lion in this card. No, no. The lion is the lion and the cat is the cat. Oh, wow. King of Wands. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. These are incredible. Okay, here we are, the final suit of the deck, the swords. I love them all so much. Two of Swords. Three of Swords. Four of Swords. Six. I like it. I like it very much. Wow. And the King. All right, so what are some of my final thoughts here? I am kind of blown away by the quality of this deck, by the quality of the art. I was not expecting it to be this good, honestly, because as I said, I don't really enjoy collaborative decks very much. I usually don't find them to be personally very pleasing. I usually feel like, generally, I feel like they don't mesh together very well. I feel like often the art is hit or miss. Like, clearly some artists are very good at making tarot cards, and others, tarot cards is not what they do best. There are definitely exceptions. You know, I really love my Ostara Tarot. And this one is, to me, absolutely in the same class. Like, the people who made this deck understood tarot. Like, they got what the cards are supposed to do and how they're supposed to function as a tool. So whether or not they have familiarity with tarot, or with tarot reading or receiving tarot, like whether or not that is something in their personal experience, I have no idea. But each of them, I think, made good tarot cards. And because the cards are good, the deck is good. And I feel like it meshes surprisingly well. You know, way better than I expected, honestly. Of course, the real measure of that is how well it reads. And that's a very personal thing. You know, that's not something that I can say, oh, it's a good deck or it's a bad deck. No, that's really something that is a very personal judgment call. Let's see how it shuffles. I'm extremely pleased with how it feels. Like, it feels good in my hand. It's a perfect size for me and my tiny little hands that don't always work so well. Here, I see I'm having trouble today. Okay, let's see. Okay, even right out of the box, they're cooperating pretty well. I think the gilding probably adds a little stiffness on top of the fact that they're just new. Oh yeah, there we go. They're already kind of settling in. And also, like, keep in mind, I have messed up hands, so a lot of other people are going to have, I think, an easier time shuffling. But even given some physical issues, they feel good. And I think that once they kind of get used to being a deck, they're going to shuffle really well. They feel substantial, they feel like they're going to last, but they also don't feel overly engineered. Like someone was like, oh, let's just choose the thickest paper because that means it's good, right? No, I feel like someone who knew what they were doing, you know, really picked some very good stock. I think some people will probably be put off by a lot of the computer art, like, but that's a very personal choice again. I don't mind it. I like a lot of it. I am enchanted by the art. I think it's very beautiful. I think it's absolutely delightful. I think it brings a lot of nuance and character to cards that many readers find intensely familiar, and highlights dimensions of cards that are often overlooked. I think this is a good deck for reading for diverse clientele who want and deserve to have their life experiences reflected in readings. I want to read with this deck. This is a deck that makes me want to read with it, like immediately, for myself, for others, for people I love. And what better response is there in a tool than wanting to use it? I know there are still copies available. I know you can go, oh, here, Wheel of Fortune. There we go. She's a good card. She's a card of much to say. Change ahead. Look forward. Yeah, I know there are still still decks available. You can look for just the name Lady Tarot Cards. I'll copy and paste the full name of the deck, or the way that it has been fully listed online, because I don't want to state it incorrectly, but Lady Tarot Cards plus Kickstarter should get you directly to the campaign. Yeah. Yeah. You might really like checking it out. I'm very happy with it. I'm going to find, like I said, I think a different box or bag to keep the deck in, and store the paper box separately, just because I had some trouble getting it open. But yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. I'm very happy with it. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. Yeah, I will see you next time. Hopefully I'll do some more spontaneous readings soon, but I have not felt very spontaneous lately. So I wish you all the best. Bye.